question is asking, this landlord rented a property to two individual tenants, and then one of the tenants died, and then the remaining tenant brought in another person to live with them. How does that landlord deal with that? Hi, my name is Rob Wells. I'm the Landlord Warrior on TikTok and YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. Now, depending on how the tenancy was framed, if these are co-tenants that this landlord's rented out to, and the one of the tenants died, the tenancy would likely continue on. Okay, they're two joint tenants. One of them passed away. The other one, is renting from this landlord, and then I guess this tenant brought in another occupant. So I don't think the tenancy would terminate. And if there is a restriction on who can occupy the property, that landlord might be able to address that violation with a 3-day notice to perform covenants to have that person either vacate or tell them that occupancy is not permissible. Okay, now you got to check your local rules and listings. Okay, because some local eviction control ordinances do permit a tenant to replace an occupant that might have moved out, or in this case passed away. Okay, I believe the city of San Francisco has an ordinance like that. A tenant has a right to replace a departing tenant on a one-to-one basis, but the landlord has to be notified and given an opportunity to vet those persons, that type of deal. So you're gonna have to check your local listings to see if an ordinance governs a tenant's right to replace an occupant for a one-on-one basis, that type of deal. Okay. And other places, you might be able to do a 3-day notice to perform, to address that issue. And in the rare case, in this case, if this landlord only had one principal tenant that was financially responsible for the lease, and the other one was an occupant, for example, and the financially responsible tenant passed away, that tenancy might technically have ended. Okay, and if you're in a locality where an occupant might be able to assume the lease, that type of deal, it's gonna, your rules, your lease terms are gonna vary. So this landlord here should probably consult with landlord's counsel, go over the lease, make sure there are no local rules that apply different, that type of deal, because your lease terms, how the lease is written, in the locality where the tenancies that may dictate the outcomes of what happens. So I would probably recommend this landlord go see counsel, review their lease and their options. Okay, landlords, if you're in the Northern California area and you have a situation where you have unique tenant situations, that circumstances that have occurred, and you need help navigating through your rights and so forth, feel free to reach out to us. We might be able to help out. Put your comments, questions down below. Try to answer them to the best of my ability. Until next time, folks, I'll talk to you then. Thanks.